Reason that I'm glad Clay's here is that I always come up with topics for these meetings based on questions or issues that I've been addressing, with other volunteer genealogists since our last meeting or, recently. And that's where a lot of this has come up as far as the topics that I wanted to talk about. It's also the reason that Jennifer and I opened up the private Facebook page is to try to encourage everybody to use that as a place for questions and answers because there's not a question that I've been asked that wouldn't help other people. And that's why I use a lot of the questions that I do get during the months to form the topics for discussion. Um, Clay taught me something from the genealogical guidelines. And Clay, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, well, that was we had an ups. You had things going on, I had things going on, and we had a little slip up, and one of the records didn't get submitted for a prospective member. And from reading the genealogical guidelines, I had remembered seeing a paragraph about being able to submit an extra piece of documentation that was found after the application had been sent. And so I had a critical death certificate that I had really kind of given up on the prospective member getting to me. And the application got sent, and then she finally sent me the death certificate because it was going through the line. And this is like Gen 5 has a death certificate. That's kind of unusual, and I needed to prove parents. So I only got the name of one parent, but that was enough to make me happy. And so we're fortunately the application hadn't been sent yet, and it still hasn't been sent because my computer died.
Oh no.
And that's why you're dark this morning, right?
Well, no, that's not why I'm dark. I don't want to clear off my desk, and I have shortly. I've got another something I have to do this afternoon. My horse trainer for since 25 years, almost 30 years ago. His daughter died this week, and I went to the funeral, and today's his birthday, and I'm going to go
Oh,
see.
wow. Well, I got going back to the missing document. I mean, Clay sent it to me and she's like, "Can you send this in?" And I'm like, "You've got to be crazy." I mean, if everybody sent in documents after applications had already been submitted, that would take an incredible amount of time to chase these just simple documents that are being sent by themselves to catch up with an application or a supplemental application to National. There's no way that I can just send this document. And she's like, "Well, here's a clipping from the genealogical guidelines that says that we can." I'm like, "Well, okay, caught me." I mean, that's why we're better together, is that that's a lot of information in the genealogy guidelines. And the
Yeah.
dealio is that yes, you can send it. It's not encouraged, of course, because like I said, we try to imagine what the genies go through. I do, and we try to make their lives fairly easy because we want them to do for us what they're supposed to do. And so the easier we can make it for them, the better it is for us. But Clay did show me that what we need to do is every prospective member has a number. And if we, use that number in the communication that this document is very important to an application that has just been submitted for this prospective member. Now, of course, if it's a supplemental, they've got a member number and they can actually put them together. I don't even want to know what that looks like. I kind of want to know what that looks like, but I can't imagine the snafu that that might cause. But maybe not so bad because it is available for us in the genealogy guidelines. I don't encourage it, but what Clay went through, I can see why this was actually applicable, except for it hasn't been submitted yet, so it got to catch up before it went to national. But
Mhm.
Susan,
yeah,
you also have to give an explanation as to why you're sending a document late.
that's
So,
kind of important.
that's you really don't want to do that on a regular basis.
I don't think so. Can,
Yeah.
we're really trying to, I was going back through and looking at the weekly review updates that our um, Registrar General sends out, and I appreciate that they're doing that. I think I always have to look at the information with a little bit of a judgment eye because it takes 2 years for a supplemental to be reviewed. And they're judging those supplementals by current standards as much as they can. They will. I mean, like a lot of them don't have to have the two reviewers. They're not going to go back that far, you know. But they're still saying that a lot of the supplementals are not put together well. They are getting AIRs, all this. But when you look at the fact that it's a 2-year old, and I think that honestly, the society has made great progress in making their standards more strict, but better. As much as we don't like it, I really embrace this idea of the reviewers. I think that that's probably the best idea that they've had in a while. I have had the opportunity, sadly, but learning wise, to see an application that I was called in by Allison Strange to help out with, in that it had two reviewers ish. They signed, one of them signed as a reviewer. You don't have to have a signature, you just have to have a number. The other one signed for member to member. They didn't even look at the form they were signing, which they didn't need to sign. It was an application that had been put together by the husband of the prospective member because the registrar had just gone through surgery and was out of pocket. And so I'm like, girls, this is a really good thing to do, but we've got to do it. And the citations were written well because the husband of the prospective member didn't even know the standards that we had. Now, this isn't something that's typically done, but it did happen. And we just need to get the word out there that, it's important to look at these applications as a reviewer. We are helping the society. We are helping the registrars in our chapter. We are helping members who are putting together supplementals. And in the long run, we are helping the genies. And if we ever want to get those review dates any quicker, we want to help them as much as we can. So, um, but thank you, Clay, for bringing that to my attention. Like I said,
There's always something new.
or it's there and you just have never, in your wildest dreams, I thought you had lost it, Clay. I really, when you said, could you send this? No. So now I've learned. Thank you. Let's see. We were going to talk a little bit about family search citations. Are any of you confused on how to write a family search citation?
I'm not now that you sent me that worksheet.
Okay.
That was
Um,
good.
the worksheet that
I'm a
Jennifer,
little confused.
it can be confusing, Mari. The worksheet that Jennifer is referring to, I call it my citation cheat sheet. Let me see. I know it's out there on the South Carolina DAR Volunteer Genealogist Committee
Yeah,
Facebook.
I pulled it last night from there, but I haven't had a chance to review it.
Okay. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, and I
Um,
haven't been finding anything on your volunteer genealogist. I don't think I actually got on.
I think you're in.
Okay, I'll recheck again.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for whatever reason. Um, Jennifer and I, when we put together the page, thought that we could just send out invitations, but then we learned that if you're not our friend, we can't invite you. And so Mari, just yesterday or the day before, said, please send me an invitation because that was the first email I sent out. And I'm like holding my breath, like, oh, good, Mari and I are friends. I can send her an invitation. But um, just because I like to share. Now, you guys, I get into this share thing a little too happy like. I actually meet with my granddaughter once a week to get her college prep done, and we do the same thing. I'm like, oh, look at what I'm looking at. So join my party. Um, but here is the Facebook page. And if you go over here under files, it's just a real quick place for the genealogy guidelines. If you're somebody that's usually tapped into Facebook, it's just right there for you. Also, the most recent issue of the genealogy gems, and those are always worth reading. And typically they're short articles that are packed full of good information. But then here's my cheat sheet that I was talking about. I don't want to save it. I want to just open it. That's all right. Somebody went through a lot of effort to go through the genealogy guidelines and abbreviate it all into 4 pages. And that's really what this is. And it's just a wealth of information in a snapshot, pretty much. Here's where we're looking at FamilySearch is an online source and how they want records from FamilySearch referenced versus how they want for Ancestry. One of the things that's very important and that I am challenged with a lot with our state genealogists is that citations from the FamilySearch catalog should only use the DGS number when there is no file number. So the file number is the number that's actually written on the file roll, typically first, second, or third frame of the digital images. That's the number that they want. Do you guys want me to walk through and show you how to do this? We've done it before, but I don't mind doing it again. Okay.
I think it's good.
Do you want to walk through it? Is that what you're saying, Jennifer?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we're going to go to FamilySearch. Sign in. Now, I don't have anything fresh on my plate or an example put together, but of course, unless you guys have got something, I can come up with something. But what I think majority of us are having a confusion with is that we've embraced the FamilySearch full text search, and we're thankful that it is available to us. So let's go ahead. Now it's no longer in the labs. It's part of the actual search features that are available to us in FamilySearch.
Do Peter Parker.
Wait a minute, I was going to do Frederick Kuhn. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, Frederick Kuhn is my mother's biological father. So we're always, we don't know him very well. We're always working on him. Um, and I know he was in New York and in California. So here's our filtering. You know, right now, just the name Frederick Kuhn, we get 357 hits. 348 are in the United States. And I knew he was, like I said, New York and California. So let's see how many are in New York. There's 97 there. You know what? I've never really searched for him in California. I got his death certificate from there, but let's see if there's anything worthy there. Just a quick scroll. He was born in 1916, and so the years here don't really look like there'd be anything. I know he was citizen, so he wasn't naturalized. Okay, so let's do that filter again. Now that I know he's not there. And he would have been in Queens. Oh, there were a couple of Henry or Frederick Kuhns during that time. Huh. Francis Frederick is either Frederick Francis or Francis Frederick, so this is kind of interesting. And Vincent Zuber was one of his ancestors. So in the matter of, I've not seen this before, you guys, so thank you for letting me do this. In the matter of the application of Vincent Zuber as administrator bonus non of Sabina Schmidt, deceased, for leave to sell real property of the decedent, also known as, and they don't know where to put Francis and Frederick and Kuhn and all that. And that's probably the right guy. Being an heir at law and distributee and next of kin. So I really do want to look at this. This is kind of cool to me. And honestly, I've not seen it before. Mom was born in 1942. So by 1949, she was in the orphanage. So this is very important to me. Okay. So now let's say that there's some genealogical important information in here. So I want to make sure that I use it and I cite it. There's a couple of ways we could go about it. If we click on information, we can go down here and this image group number is the same thing as the DGS. Hang on, I'm trying to, my little floaty. So the image group number is the DGS, what they're talking about here. So we do not want to use that. Now there's a couple of ways we can go about it. We've got that same number up here now that we're in the information screen. We've got the 109303941 image group number here and also in the title up here, which was not there before until we clicked on the information tab. We know that we are at image 85 of 205, so we might want to jot that down or remember it. But I want to go to the very first film image of this roll. And they are calling this file number 1558 is in the estate of Sabina Schmidt, who is the person's probate that we just saw Frederick Kuhn associated with. So that is not the film number, it's the package number. So that did not help. A lot of times, if you go to the first image, you will see the family history library's roll number on there. Not so much this time. So I'm going to open up a second screen.
The
What's
box up at the top that has all the grids,
one more time? What?
the little box where all the grids are right next to the download icon.
That one? Yeah.
See what you get.
We're at the first screen or the first image.
Yeah, scroll. Yeah, usually it's there, but
Yeah, this time it wasn't, and that happens. I mean, these are all just packages of different probate records.
yeah.
So remember, he was on 85. That was the image we were looking for. My goodness, we just went to image one. This is a very huge probate record if you think about it, because it is Sabina Schmidt, and we went to image one, and it's Sabina Schmidt. So we know it's at least 85 pages long of probate record for this one case that I'm actually interested in. Okay, I'll see you later. I gotta go do this. Okay, so now we've opened up a new window to look at this image group number. This might be a case where we would have to use the DGS number. What do you think, Clay?
I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times when you get to this, you click on this and it opens up a variety of pages or film strips, rolls, and then you can pick from there. But I believe this one is not that, so we'll have to use another one. I want to look at something real quick here, though. What is this all one probate package? It is.
Ooh,
Wow.
you got something good there.
I don't know that I'm going to make it to the event today, Jennifer.
I know it. I just saw that. Whoa.
Okay. And for you guys that know my journey on my mom's application, I think you can appreciate where I'm coming from with that. I mean, it's like, wow, that's not what I expected. Okay, so we're going to try somebody else. Which one was it you wanted to do, Clay?
Do Peter Parker,
Okay.
and his father is George. And he's in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay, look at this. 39,996. She's got 40,000 results from this. So that's why it's really important in this kind of one to get it drilled down. So we know it's United States, and what state was it?
South Carolina and North Carolina.
Okay, North Carolina's got almost 4,000 hits. And then we've got South Carolina's 1564. Where you want to go?
Let's start in North Carolina.
Get a county.
Richmond.
Wow, are these different towns? They must be. Look at that. We'll just try my, I was just curious.
I haven't used that sidebar like that. That's interesting to.
It's new, I think, in the last couple of weeks.
Really?
They used to have it up on the top, but it's still the same sort of function. I did not like it when they put it on the side, but we adapt, you know. Do you want to narrow it down by a year or a decade?
Add George in there. George Parker.
That's how I would do it. Is that how you would do it?
I would put the full name in there. So you don't get.
You can't put it in quotes. It'll always come back. Watch. Always come back. And watch it, me be me a liar, but I'm a liar. I've never had it come back with anything where you can do that. That's great. Okay, so you want to look at the first one here?
Yeah, I think those are the only two deed records I found, and I think it goes to his son. I don't have, Peter is not mentioned in the will. Because he's the oldest child.
Well, it looks like he's just a witness on this. It's about George Parker. It looks like he's the purchaser of the land and that Peter is a witness. But that's all right. This is great. We can still use it for our purpose, and that is to try to find the file number. So remember 316, image 316 of 645 is the document that we are going to use. And we want to try image 1 again to look for the family history library film number.
Right.
Okay, that is not it.
Hmm.
That is it.
Is it always stamped as opposed to handwritten?
Yeah, I've never seen the film number handwritten. I don't know what this, and Elizabeth, that's such a good question. We're supposed to just know these things. I believe that this was possibly the photographer that made
Okay.
especially with the initials and all.
That might be the date it was photographed too.
Well, there's not really any kind of format there that would be a date, you know.
Go back
But
to.
again, I don't think we're supposed to know. I mean, I don't think they're trying to keep a secret, but I don't think it really is applicable to what we need. So the file number would be 19681. Now, I keep learning. Starting to feel pretty stupid because I keep learning, but it's always good. Did anybody watch the film strip that I put out on the Facebook page on how to do this?
No,
I
Okay.
didn't see it.
It's,
I
yeah.
haven't been able to get on the Facebook
Oh,
page. So,
I'll fix you as soon as we get off, Elizabeth.
okay.
I was trying to get on and I couldn't get on to it, so I don't know how to do it.
Jennifer, would you check for Clay too?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm on multitask.
Just hope the grandkids don't yell, right?
Yep.
Um, what it sh and seriously, the film or the clip on the Facebook page is one of those old ones where they've got some quirky music in the background and you have to read it, and it's kind of one of those old-fashioned ones, which is easy to lose your interest unless you really want to watch it. It's not that long, but here's what they were also saying. So now we know we've got this film strip number 19681. So we can go to this information tab. Oh, There's a couple ways to get there. Let's try it this way. Okay, that didn't give us what we wanted either. Maybe I'm not doing it right. I'm gonna try it this way. Catalog. 19681. Is that it? Yep. Okay, so then we have to put that 19681 in here. This is it. Believe it or not, you guys. This is what they want on the citation. They want, of course, the Richmond County, North Carolina, deeds volume T through V, 1848-1865, and then Family History Library roll number 19681. That's what this
So
would. Now up here, it does give an example of a page number. So what I've typically done in a situation like we're looking at right now is drill down and look, since it's more than one volume.
I also choose to find the volume and tell them which volume it's in.
That's what I'm just saying is I will go and I will find it and then look for this little icon here to see which volume is it when it's got a mixed volume. And so like, let's see, what was that number? What was it? You remember, Clay?
345, I don't remember. But you can just scroll down and
Actually, I could just go back here. Here we go. 316. Use the grid. Pull it up. And this one was in volume U. And then 316. It was on page 201, and pretty sure it's 201 and 202 for it to be the complete deed. Yeah, see, it starts here. So the other thing, where is it? So that's how I would on this one cite it, is the county, the state, the name of the volume, the pages, and then the family history library roll number is that 16891 or whatever it was. But you see how on this one we didn't need to have a DGS number because they want the roll number. Now we can sit here and we can lament and go, they're asking us to do a whole lot of work for nothing. But my saying has always been, if you want to play by the genies, play with the genies, you have to play by their rules. I want to look at something here.
Hi.
I didn't know who owner was. Hi. I was like, I don't know if I want this person in the room or not. I better go check. Hi, Renee. I didn't see you slide in either. Glad you're here. So does that, it's always easy to see an example, but seriously, if you guys have questions or if you want to walk through it again, we can do that because it's important. I don't understand their logic because family history, FamilySearch, family history library is kind of changing the way that they're cataloging things. I would personally think that it would be easier and for everybody trying to find that document to use the digital group series number.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
they don't, they're saying that's not what they want, Elizabeth. So
No, so like you say, you do it their way.
yeah. And I mean, this is such a big deal, Elizabeth, that they even did make that film strip or whatever you want to call it, that clip on how to do family search citations. Ancestries are pretty easy. You just use the name of the database within Ancestry
Mhm.
and then put ancestry.com behind it. That's your citation. It's going through a whole series of steps in order to create the proper citation for something found on FamilySearch. but that's the way it is. So don't hesitate to ask. You know, I don't know that I'll always be in front of my computer, but you could always send me a text message or an email and say, help me. Jennifer, I'm going to throw you under the bus and say you can send it to Jennifer too. It's what she gets for being the coach or the vice chair of the committee. Um, do you guys have questions? I mean, we want to talk about this some more? I'm okay with that if you want.
I have a question.
Yeah, Lorraine.
Um, I I've been citing Ancestry, not even .com. I just do comma Ancestry.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
And that's a really good question. So this morning I went and I scoured the Volunteer Genealogist Committee and the Chapter Registrar Committee doc for what are issues? What should I be talking to the girls about? And honestly, Lorraine, your question is kind of one of them that sort of came up, not that particular one, but they're like, well, when I look at this cheat sheet that we're looking at, I see commas in places that I don't see them when I look in the genealogy guidelines examples.
Yeah.
Which way is it supposed to be? And I think we don't need to be overly concerned about that, but yet, the anal part of our mind, when we're trying so hard to please their stricter standards, thinks that we should. I know when the this new standards came out, Barbara Jers and her vice chair, um, oh, Colleen Knights, they sat down and they went through every example and they're like, we want to know which way is the right way. And they were talking about commas and they were talking about .com. And they found that there was a variety, a mixture of those type of things. Don't worry too much about it. The one thing that is important is that you separate citations with a semicolon. That is the punctuation that is of importance. And don't put a semicolon in the middle of a citation because that means this is a new citation. So it's a semicolon that's probably more important than the .com or the commas.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Eileen and I went through the guidelines because she was saying do it one way and I was saying do it another. And we found examples that supported her and examples that supported me. We were both right.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, like I said, Barbara Jers, I mean, she is the, outstanding volunteer genealogist of the year last year, and Colleen Knights, who is her right hand. Those two are just amazing when it comes to research and standards and looking at the little itty bitty parts. And they had the same experience, Elizabeth. So, with that in mind, the way I process that is to understand that there is a certain amount of grace available. You know, um, it's not going to be thrown, something like that is not going to be thrown back. I've not heard of anyone, but I'm learning a lot these days. I have not heard of anybody getting what I guess they call a pre-letter right now because they used a DGS number for the family search instead of family history library roll number. Again, I think there's a little grace there. They have asked us, though, not to use the DGS number unless we have to, because there is no family history library roll number. We can understand that. What we can't understand is, like you just said, Elizabeth, when you've got mixed messages and examples that contradict one another. In those situations, I think, okay, do the best you can.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, another for those of you that joined late, I was explaining that a lot of times I bring topics to this meeting based on questions that have been asked of me during the month.
Mhm.
And that's why we got the Facebook page going is um, I I encourage everyone to go ahead and put questions like that in there. Let's see what other people in the state have to say because I I'll try to give you an answer, but I keep learning along the way too. I may not always have everything right. So if we get a little bit more input, we get a better, we're better together than any one of us alone. So one of the other questions that came up to me, or a topic conversation was started on, was the idea that when you're, especially when you're going back into the early to mid 1800s, if you can prove that a child is a child of the father, it does not necessarily mean that that child is a child of his wife.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
that's terrible.
I'm not saying that in a terrible way. It's true, Lori.
No, but I've just been working on, I had this perfect analysis proving that the daughter was in an 1810 census of the father, but I'm going through the mother's line.
Oh, see, that's what is kind of important.
Oh, that hurts.
I actually
Oh,
have an error letter right now for that exact reason. And I had assistance with it because this was a new Patriot and I needed an analysis on it, and that all passed. But this mid 1800 family, they want me to prove the mother. I can get the son who was born 2 years later, and a later census record indicates that she's the daughter of the mother, but they're not accepting any of that.
No, Rhonda, what you're interacting with is all over Facebook pages about, uh, DAR lineage research. It's all over the doc. It is a thing, and it is everyone. So it's not whether you're using commas correctly in citations, you guys. This is a
They do.
very strong point.
I've got an app that I've been working on for over a year, and I thought I had finally gotten it. And the only thing I can do to connect to generations is a 1850 census. The mother's already dead. The line goes through her. She's with her father. Now, this lady has a plethora. I mean, a real plethora of patriots. And actually, as we've been doing this, I've been looking at another one. And if I've got, I would have to prove a new patriot. If I've got providing supplies, I would forget the name of it totally, Shenandoah Valley Early Pioneers. If that's an acceptable source, I've got his residence cold. Now I've got to find his birth and death.
Well, and if you're switching to a maternal line anywhere along there, you've got to prove that it's a child of the mother.
Mother.
Jennifer, do you want to share what you just went through? Okay, and I gotta again throw Jennifer underneath the bus. It's part of her job. Jennifer and I really had a deep conversation about this a couple of times during the last couple of weeks. I've got to preface me asking Jennifer to share this in that I have never read, honestly, Jennifer, a more beautiful analysis. You knocked it out of the park. We we worked on it. I looked at it a couple of times and said,
Oh, yeah.
and when I read it the last time, I'm like, sold, she's got it. This is beautiful. So you go for it. Jennifer, explain what you had to do in order to get the analysis done.
Oh, Lord. This is the hardest one I've ever done. I've never had to do an analysis. I've been lucky. And I told Susan this. Um, I've done a good many papers, but I've never had to do an analysis. So uh, we had to prove this. We have an error letter, and really, you're proving the uh, child is the who her mother is, but then you had to prove who her husband was and who her parents are. So we found documents to prove.
Can I interrupt you real quick,
Yes, go
Jennifer?
ahead.
So she had a death certificate that listed the father's name, but not the mother's name. And that's pretty much all she had to work with. And again, this AIR was one that was turned over to the Volunteer Genealogist Committee. So she didn't have the time into the research. She just had an AIR and a death certificate that listed the father. So go ahead.
Right. And we had the census with her parents. We had the census with her husband with this child that was 11 months old. and then the mother died between the two censuses. I don't, for some reason, decided, let me look at other children. I found a obituary in Find a Grave for the sister that listed both parents, and she is on the census record. She's 1 year younger than the child that we're going through. I
So
also
that-
found a death record that said that she was 28 years, 5 months old.
when she died.
Didn't say when she died.
Yeah.
And so I took the census record from 1860, calculated, and it said she was 27 years old then. So I used those, I think, 4 documents to prove that this child was her child, and using the obituary from her sister, the 1855 New York census, and the 1860. Forgotten what's the 4th document. I'm sorry. I feel
The
like this has been
obituary. Did you say the obituary of her sister?
the obituary for her sister, the death certificate of the daughter that just lists the father, and the 1855 New York that list. And the funny thing is, all the sons are listed as sons, all the daughters are listed as child. I said, can you believe that? I guess they couldn't spell daughter, it wasn't enough room.
That was it.
But they put child by those instead of daughter.
That's
But again, with just being able to get those pieces of information, and I think what, if I'm not mistaken, what was really important, there was like 5 documents, but what was really important is that this woman was found in the 1860 census. No, is it 18? Yes. 1860 census, she was 27 years old. So I
Right.
gave her the 1833 circa birth date, birth year.
Mhm.
Okay. Found a record where she died at the age of 28 years, 5 months. So with that, she could add the 28 years onto the 1833 circa birth date and show that this woman died in 1861. The
Right.
child in question was born about
59.
1859, yeah, about 1859. And so since this 28-year-old woman that died was in the household of the man that was listed on this girl's death certificate, we could prove that her mother was this woman that died at the age of 28 years old.
Okay, and that's something that I'd be interested in, is like how to use the documents like around the person, because I've never done an analysis, but the person I'm talking about, I think I've read somewhere, if she died young, so she doesn't have a
Yeah.
death
It's
certificate.
happened a lot,
But
Elizabeth,
she
and that's
has
why it's an
siblings
issue.
who, lived to around 1900. And if I can show a census with the siblings, and then a death certificate of a sibling who's older and younger with those parents, do they assume that that's her parents?
That's called sandwiching, and it is.
Yeah, okay, that may be something I can do.
Renee, what is it? You,
I had an, excuse me, an error myself several years ago. The child that I was going through was listed in his father's will along with all the other children. However, the line that I was going to, the Patriot, which was a new Patriot, was the mother's father. The woman was listed as his wife in the will. And I didn't think a thing about it. I thought it was going to be a fine. It was a straightforward. And of course, I got that error letter. How do I know that she's really the mother of my child? My child was like the second child. There was he had an older sibling, a sister. Her middle name, she used her middle name in every document she used. And she did several things because she did 2 prenuptials. So she was
Wow.
in different documents, and every document she used, she put her complete name, and her middle name was the mother's maiden name. And I thought, oh, that'll be easy. That's a good proof. No, the genie did not like that at all. Don't know, anyway, so that wasn't it either. What made that patriot my new patriot was looking back at the father's will when he made his statement about what he was giving and what was being left to the wife, and that when she died, then it was to be inherited. They were different ones were to inherit from after the death of their mother. And
Just
those
one word.
were all it took, their mother. And so therefore, then the
Wow.
genie assumed that she had to be all of the children's mother.
Renee, that's a great example. I hate to admit, but sometimes I get tired of reading that archaic handwriting, and so you skim it, you know, and that's where you miss that one special word that changed everything in that AIR.
Yeah. It was such a simple thing. And I had jumped through hoops trying to find, I could find all the children. I knew the lands. This older daughter inherited quantity of land. That's why she did all the prenuptials. There was her mother's maiden name. It was just, I could prove the mother's mother and father both. And it just, but that wasn't it. It was just their mother.
So what's another way? I mean, not everybody's got the word their mother in a will,
Or
you know,
will at all.
or a will at all.
We
will
didn't
at
have a
all.
will.
Yeah, because this was early, as you can imagine. This was early, 1800s.
Or like Jennifer's situation where a woman dies early at 28 years old.
Mhm.
I mean, the chances of a will existing for a 28-year-old death are not very strong, honestly. Um, so what's another way that we can prove that the wife is the mother of a child?
Susan, I got something I'd like to present.
Okay.
Working on Peter and George. Peter has a wife named Luna in the 1850 census. 1850, 1860, 1870, 1880. And then Peter is gone. He died in 81. But Luna has a 1900 and a 1910 record.
Well,
And she's living with a son, John R. But in the 1900 record, she states she has one child born, one child living.
okay.
It's really funny because in the 1880 census, the child John is listed as a son of the head of household.
Right.
But all of his children are born in North Carolina, and this one is born in South Carolina, which already piqued my concern. Also, in all of the census records, pretty much it kind of goes in numerical order of age. And then if there's other people in the house that are related differently, a mother or father or aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever, they're at the bottom. But the only way you know that is, with the sequence of the birth dates is changed, or some information is changed. So there's some miscellaneous children at the bottom of the census record in each census record. And and I found some guardianship records for some of them.
Okay. You're giving us a lot of information and it's a little overwhelming, but when you say the word
The
guardianship,
point is to look at all the census records, especially the 1900, and
yes.
is it the 1900 and the 1910? I can't remember if both of those did that. I don't remember seeing it in the 1910 one, but I did see it in the 1900 one.
So I just looked at mine. And so for the 1900 census, it shows the mother had 3 children. So if I can go back, I mean, it is possible that a child was born and died with, mid-decade.
Right.
I wonder if that would help my cause. Because she's only got one living and I only find 2 children on the other census records.
Is the father in the home? The husband?
Sorry.
Is the husband in the home?
He passed, and so the child was born in the 1850s. She shows on the 1860 census with the father and the mother, and the father's passed by 1870.
Okay.
The mother was living alone with the 2 children in 1870. In 1880, she's living with her brother, but the child's listed as her daughter. And then in 1900, the daughter has passed, but the mother says she's had three births.
Okay, so it keeps coming up, and I'm pulling up right now. I heard Clay say, I can't remember if it's the 1900 or the 1910 census. Well, I'm looking at it right now, and both the 1900 and the 1910 census ask questions about how long you've been married or what your age was when you were married. That can give us a circa marriage date.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that's good. You can use that, and that's important. Then it asks the mother, how many children did you have? Both of these do, and how many are currently living. So, for instance, I'm looking at one right now. I just pulled up a random one. I don't even know who these people are, but father is 50 years old, mother is 39 years old. Right there, that's 11 years split. So you're like, okay, could be, or maybe he's remarried a younger woman because his first wife died. I mean, it's a good example. The number of years they were married was 31 years. That doesn't make any sense at all if she's 39, does it? Number of
Oh,
years.
yeah. So mine's showing blank for number of years married, but she's been a widow for 30 years.
Okay. I'm just saying for other times
Yes.
where this is
Yes.
important. Um,
On
look at
census-
I'm sorry, like I said, this is a random example. It doesn't make any sense to me as far as she was 8 years old when she got married, if the census record is right. So, you got to look at it and see what makes sense. Um, the one below it, he's 30, she's 24, they've been married 6 years. Okay. She's given birth 3 times and she's got 2 children and they're both enumerated in the home. Right there, that's a perfect encapsulation of those 2 children are her children. She's been married to this man for 6 years. They are his children also. So if you can get a family to the 1900 census and it has that information, you've got a lot of good, even if they're older, it still gives you a lot of good information. Now, if they're not all living in the home together, you still might be able through some deeper research to isolate who are the 2 children still living. Let's say that the married couple is in their 80s and it shows that she's got 2 children living. They may be neighbors, or you can find other records. You can use all of that and you may need to do an analysis. And an analysis is only used when you don't have a lineage link that comes together directly. You have to use a variety of documents to prove it. Another thing that you can use, Rhonda, in your case, when you go back as far as you are, and also Clay for you too, are don't forget land records. Now, Jennifer, in the case that she just was talking about, um, the it was 2 generations that they wrote the AIR on. And so this child that was born in 1833, they're like, we don't know that she is the daughter of both the husband and the wife. Well, we found an 1827 land record showing that they, as husband and wife, signed to sell some land. And then the child was born in 1833. So, enable if you find a will or something like that that shows that that child born in 1833 is a daughter of the father, and the father and the mother have signed a land document before that child is born, that is also proof. Renee, you look like you're like, does that make sense? So sandwiching between death certificates, land documents signed by a husband and wife before the birth of a child, um, census records, going back and looking at a circa marriage year and how many children have been born to that married couple. are all ways that we can get to, a mother of the given father, and, it is not DAR being overly picky. American history is such, and I believe it probably happened even outside of our country, that infants died, and so did women. And they had, I know all of you have seen where one woman has given birth to 13 children. It's not common, but we've all seen that kind of family structure. Some women were just created strong enough to withhold or to hold up under that kind of circumstance, and others not so much. So, Jennifer and her story, and that's a good point, Jennifer. Do we know when he married Clarissa, or Mary, the second wife?
The second wife, um, in the second wife's first husband died in 1865. I found that
Oh,
death. And so somewhere between 65, but because they were married by 1870.
so they had a 1-year-old child, correct?
And yes, and they named it after the first wife's name.
And I mean, it was so close, so it's like, or was that the child that she gave birth to when she died? I don't think so. I think it was,
No, because she
oh,
died in 61 and this
right.
child was born in 69. So
It's a very sweet story, especially to see.
there's no marriage records and no wills. That's the huge thing with them.
And so I think it's important, Clay, when you're talking about looking at full family structures, as long as you don't get so overwhelmed by the whole huge picture. If you can isolate, you can narrow down. Sometimes, just like Jennifer found, you've got to look at that sibling's obituary to get the information that you're lacking. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, Elizabeth was saying, you've got to sandwich a person between their siblings on death certificates if their siblings live longer and are shown in a census record. To the head, they're a son or whatever, you know, showing
Yeah,
that.
I was, didn't get around to finishing was that, in every census record, there is a Luna wife or Laura, a wife named Laura. And, but the one in the 1900 census, Laura, says she has only one child.
Okay.
So that there's at least two Lauras that he's been married to. And the possibility of a third Laura. I haven't finished this whole research yet. Because they went back and forth between North Carolina, South Carolina. And so then there's multiple Peters and Lauras, and I think,
And it's so rude when people do that. I mean, not only do they name their child over and over, but then they marry women by their mother's name. It's like,
yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
so hard when they do that.
Here.
or they marry I'm guilty. My ex-husband's name is David, and my current husband's name is Dave because I don't want two Davids. So, I mean, it actually happens. Yes, Susan, what?
Hi, first of all, I'm very sorry I'm late. I had no clue we were meeting.
Susan, I thought I sent out the message, and Jennifer this morning said, don't forget to send me a link. And I'm like, why didn't she get a link? And so I'm looking all over for it, and it was not sent. I just didn't push the button. So my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, because I really value these sessions. I get so much
Okay.
from them. But I have something that came up, and I don't know if it's just my ignorance or has all of a sudden, since the new volunteer genies have come on and are doing their weekly stint in Washington, I am getting more letters back with minutia, and sometimes it's like it's a non-existent thing. I just don't know, they're just not reading it correctly or whatever. But anyway, what I'm finding more and more, and I don't know if this happened before or not, but I'm getting to where, you know how when we use a blind app, that we borrow on somebody's national number, a previous member, that's a family member. Okay. Well, in the past, they accepted that. But now all of a sudden they're wanting us to go back in and fill in any blanks for places and dates, for births and deaths, I should say, for generations like 4 or 5 through 8 or 9. And before that wasn't a deal. Is this something new?
I
And they
don't know
just
if
didn't
it's
tell us about it?
I don't know that it's new, Susan. I mean, what I know and what I'm hearing you say are a little different, but it's always been I don't know when it was a standard, but it's a standard that you have to have at least one of the other, and that is birth and date, birth date and place. Now, we both know that that can be very open, like the name of a state and a circa year. Okay. So you either have to have that information for a birth or a death. My own experience has been that once a person is recorded in the GRS,
Mhm.
okay, and so let's say that this was 20 years ago that the information was put in the GRS. And at that time, it was acceptable to just have the name without any of the vital record or vital information. You cannot X them out. You must prove them. You can't just accept it. So in that situation, Susan, you have to be able to prove a birth, date and place, or a death, date and place. Again, circa and state, as wide open as that is allowable. Now, the other thing you're talking about, and Susan, thank you for bringing this up because you and I talked about this over a month ago, and we were supposed to bring it up during a meeting. Um, they are sending out pre-letters. I don't know when that started. I think it was shortly after the double reviewer sort of thing came out. They are
Mhm.
tracking them. They are sharing that information as far as how many percentage wise they've had to do. I've received one, um, and I was blown away that the one I received, okay, when you use Build an app, it takes the connection of whatever generations you omit and it leaves that person's name, and this person is a child of these people that are in Build an app. I forgot to update that. They sent back the application. You know, I did go through two reviewers and neither of them caught that either, which is not acceptable. You know, so again, we can look at it as failing. Don't. We're doing everything we can. We're human. It's just that they're trying to make sure. Okay, let me just get on my soapbox here for a second. They're trying to make sure that we as the DAR have got really good stuff. Now, my soapbox is such that I've been doing genealogy for about 27 years. I used to go to the Family History Library in Salt Lake City and through the catalog and all that good stuff, um, find films, microfilm reader films that I wanted to look at. If it said DAR, I was like, pass. Their stuff's junky, it's clunky, it's wrong, it's not proofread. That's what the DAR used to be, guys. We don't want to be that anymore. So, now I've not been a member of the DAR for as long as I've been a genealogist. I really didn't see any value in it. Once I went to a couple of meetings and I saw diverse women that were like-minded and they were pledging allegiance to the flag and praying together. I was in. I was like, whoa, this is so much deeper than bad genealogy. And that's really kind of what I thought. However, the main reason why I joined was it only cost me $75 even then, and that was over 12 years ago.
Mhm.
Only cost me $75 to have a professional genealogist review my work. I was at that time looking at paying $200 to $500 to have a professional genealogist review my work. It's cheap. So I have come so much further than that, but I'm just getting on my soapbox to say it's hard. It's not fun. We feel like we're trying to write a report or take a test, and we're failing and we don't know why we keep it up. That's not what's going on. What's going on is our society is growing, is finessing, and we are now the leading lineage society in the United States. We've got that kind of reputation and it takes work. Is it perfect? No. And we're going to go through things like this, Susan, and it is hard. And I will put that out there. I knew there was something I wanted to put out on Facebook. There is a letter that I got, and I'm sure you're talking about the same letters you've been receiving, Susan. That list, it was just a form letter, and they check a box on this is what's wrong with this application, why we're sending it to you. And we should be looking at those when we get ready to send in an application. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry. Yeah, Susan.
I have another question. I need help from some of the other registrars. Our chapter is on fire right now. We're having every month, I'm getting probably at least three new prospective members and 2 to 3 new transfer members. And it's coming so fast and so furious. And I would love for one of you registrars to tell me, and I would love if you have a checklist to share it on the Facebook page, do you have a checklist of things to do? Like, do you make sure you have a phone call or an email from the prior registrar to see what their current their status is as far as paying dues? Were they a member in good standing? Was there any, because it seems like we've opened the floodgates and we've had one person come in as like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have, accepted them. What are you all doing as standard procedure for transfers?
We've had a slew of them in the Trenton chapter, Susan. We're a very open door.
Mhm.
We don't vet, we don't vote on whether to accept them. If they've
Well, our
got,
bylaws show that we have to vote right now.
ours don't.
But ours
So I
do.
mean,
And I would love to know, for those who do, is how are you doing this when the person's in the room?
We vote, we do a meet and greet 30 minutes before our meeting,
Mhm.
and we vote after we dismiss any visitors. That means any non-member. So if you're a prospective or you're a transfer and you come for a meet and greet, because we think we should meet them, they should meet us before they join our chapter. If you're going to be actively involved. So we do not vote until our business part of the meeting. We introduce them during the speaker. We'll do that in the beginning, and they stay for a speaker and they stay for lunch with us. So they spend time with us, but during our business meeting, it's sort of it's for members only. I don't know if that helps or not.
I'm sorry, didn't
Yeah.
national change the bylaws to where we are not supposed to be voting? And then I thought South Carolina bylaws followed suit. And I thought we as chapters had to follow what the state did. We changed ours because we were following that progress. We changed our chapter bylaws to fit in with what the others had done. I don't know, maybe we misunderstood, but we changed ours to fit that state and the national.
Maury, you can chime in on this anytime you want.
It's my understanding
I
you're allowed to
think
vote.
You're allowed to vote, and if it's in your bylaws, you have to vote. They did not make you take it out. They did, actually many cycles ago when Sheila Hay Davis was state regent, they said they didn't want people blackballing people because they didn't like, where they lived or who they were married to or something like that. They don't want blackballing, but if your bylaws say you can vote, you're still allowed to vote.
Thank you, Maury.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I would be very wary of potential litigation by blackballing somebody.
Okay.
I think that's why the state went the avenue that they did.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the world we live in now. We used to could do that. We did that in the driving club. But I would not want to do that in today's world.
And I think, Susan, when you're talking about transfers, that could get really sticky because they are a member of the DAR. If they're a member, they're going to, and they're transferring. But again, that's why I asked Mari to speak up. I think that, every chapter's got their own culture, and I love that.
Well, we're not trying to eliminate anybody. We're just trying to follow the rules. So we're going to get rid of that by law, but that takes a little time to do.
It does. It does.
And, we had the state region at our last meeting, and then we have our Christmas luncheon. So it's not going to happen until next year. But I need to know.
So in that case, you're living by your current bylaws.
Correct.
You don't have to.
So, my question is, when you hear somebody say they want to transfer to your chapter, what are the steps that people take?
Well, it depends upon your chapter's bylaws. I mean, what do you guys do, Jennifer?
Well, they come to our a meet and greet just so that we get to meet them, not, and then they usually our treasurer or I contact them to make sure we have all their information correct, because usually they're accepted. We just want to meet people before they become a member of the chapter. We're not blackballed. I've been in since 1995, and I don't know that we've ever not accepted somebody, if that helps. But we still, that our chapter has just always wanted to meet people before they became members, and we have some people that just come visit, 2 or 3 times, because we want to mesh for them, not just for us. It's a two-way street. They may not want to join us,
Of course,
So,
but we have 3 chapters in our county. So,
right,
and we encourage people, to make sure it's a good fit for them. But what's happening is, in the last couple of months, is we've had 2 people who've tried to transfer in that had not paid their dues for the last year or 2. So,
well, wait a minute. That means they need to be reinstated. And Susan, there's a whole initiative going on that.
Yes,
That's different.
So what is the initiative? Because I know what the steps are, but how are you what are your best practices in contacting the former chapter? Is there a place that we can go on the e-membership to see who the registrar or treasurer is for that
There's a place on the
chapter?
South Carolina website.
These are out-of-state people. We're in a tourist area. We have people coming from everywhere.
Okay,
So it's not just South Carolina.
Yes. At a minimum, you could go to the national website and look up chapters and go to their, a lot of chapters have got internet websites, and you could even go through the contact us there. Renee, go ahead. What?
We just tell the person that's wanting to transfer in that in order to do that, we have to contact the chapter to get the information from them to do the process that needs to be done. And then they either provide us with that chapter name and who to contact, email address, phone number, or we never hear from them again.
Oh,
now they usually leave us with they go ahead and pay the if right now they're paying their dues if they're coming in. They're paying the $75. We're just holding it until we get all the paperwork done, because we don't meet but every other month.
Yeah, we don't take anything until the transfer is, done, and we don't do a transfer until we get that information from them. That's what you're supposed to do. And then we go through and we contact the other people, and but we just keep it low key and friendly, and just we've got to get your information from your former chapter. So tell us who to contact and how to contact them.
And some, especially in an environment like you live in, Susan, where it's a lot of tourists and people that are moving in and stuff, they're legit. They and Renee, like you're talking about, some people, they're like, oh, we don't want to tell you that, we just want to transfer. But some of these people, like, I can speak for myself. I just moved here from state of Washington about 5 years ago, and I was ready to transfer because I'd moved,
Well,
and of course, at that point, Renee, like you're saying, I knew, oh yeah, here's this information, who you should contact. And
we're
honestly, they still
Rock
have an issue.
We're Rock Hill, just across the state line from Charlotte, and we have people coming in from New York State, whatever, because that's where Rock Hill is growing from people coming to Charlotte, but they actually live in York County.
Mm.
And so we have people from all over Ohio, Indiana coming in. So we just, like I said, we just keep it low key. We got to get the information before we can finish everything up for you.
Okay, so if they don't give you the information, and then you try the website and you try, this is for transfers, Lauren, that we're talking about.
Good. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
so-
we had a family thing on the phone. Sorry. Okay.
That's okay. Life happens. So I'll tell you more later, but
Okay.
the bottom line, I was trying to see if there was any specific steps that the other ladies took, in processing them. And I learned a lot
I
of
get them to fill
information.
out an information sheet like I do a perspective. You
That's
know.
So
good.
I would love to see a copy of that information sheet as an example. Can you share
Okay.
that in the Facebook
I'll
page?
put it in the files. How about that? It'll be tomorrow because I'm getting
Busy.
ready to go to Hammond House in just a few minutes.
The
So,
reason I'm dressed like this is I'm going to Jennifer's event.
Oh,
I was walking the dog.
I was wondering what's on your head.
I've got my colonial attire.
Oh,
Oh,
she's all dressed up.
She's ready to
right.
go. Except for I'm having problems with my scarf. It's getting in the way. Anyway. um,
But I can send you, it's just an information sheet that I send in, get all perspectives, because then I have the contact information I need. And that includes a transfer because we don't know them. That's the whole, they're transferring in. You need that information
Correct.
also.
Absolutely. Well, we were thinking about coming up with a questionnaire, like what are your likes and your interests, and trying to see if there's a good match for them.
that's a good
Because our
idea.
new regent is very much, she wants everybody to be on a committee for something. So, I'm trying to take care of that as well without getting intrusive.
Right.
So,
Well, it's very low key. I mean, it's just informational. It's not, it doesn't have interest information, but that would be easy. She could do that. So.
The initiative that's going on right now, Susan, you
Yeah.
asked about that. It's great, but it's not that big of a deal, right? It is, and I encourage all of us to embrace it. The dealio is that there's a $10 reinstatement fee
yes.
that is being waived for the first 5,000 that are reinstated.
oh,
Like I said,
Until
$10.
July.
I thought it was the first 5,000. Is it up to
It is
July?
the first 5,000, but it's open until July of 2026, I think.
Okay.
From now until then. So.
And so I know my regent is encouraging me. Have you been in touch with all of these previous members? And I'm like, no.
I believe National is sending out emails to all previous members if they had an email address. It was in the DOC.
I did go through an exercise as, chapter registrar here a week or so ago. I don't know if it was this initiative that made me think about it. It could have been. But, we had quite a few previous members. And I went and looked for obituaries and found quite a few of them and was able to.
I did the same thing about a month ago. They sent that out to all registrars for us to
Maybe
do.
that's why I did it.
Yeah.
But I thought, wow, that really is a good exercise because that file just keeps getting bigger and getting deeper. And it does. I mean, we're genealogists. We like looking for obituaries.
yeah. It's better than the news.
Yeah.
For sure. And so I encourage you guys. I mean, Jennifer, I don't doubt that they sent out an initiative or a request like that. I'd forgotten about that, but that's probably why I did it. And I was really glad to do it because I mean, we don't want that previous member list to just sit there and, ad nauseum just keep growing. And
But I don't think people were using e-membership like we are now. Do y'all? I mean, I think we really use it more than they were in previous years.
Well, and of course, I've got a different view on e-membership, but being able to watch the supplementals that are rolling in throughout the state. I mean, I'm on e-membership daily for not just that, but for something like that or that or that. I mean, it's a nice tool. But I think you're right, Jennifer. It's something that we've learned. They've populated it more with more information through the years, and we have learned how valuable that is to use instead of just there's subchapters that don't even understand what the prospective member database is all about. And without that, I get lost. I mean,
I have another quick question. So at what point do you vote on, since we have to do that in our chapter for right now, at what point do you vote on prospective members? Do you wait till you have it's pending and you've sent it to Washington? Do you wait till it's verified? Do you wait till they have a number assigned?
We vote on them after they visit at our meeting. It's because we don't do the application until we're going to accept them as a member.
That's what I was thinking back before Trenton changed its bylaws, that we would not pursue membership for them.
Right. So we do it. That's why we go into basically a business meeting, which is for members only, because that's what we're doing.
Oh,
One of the things we're doing business, but that comes into it.
It's kind of a classy way that you do that, Jennifer. I mean, I can see the whole layout, as far as the meeting and the way it's run.
And
Do I
then
need
people
to-
have met them. At least they've talked to them a little bit. They've had a little chat. Not a long time. It's just a chat, but at least they get to see us. We get to talk to them. They get to see that we have like 15 people that are in their 80s, and then people my age. So they need to realize that we're an older DAR. We're not.
Oh,
We have a scattering of 40-year-olds, but they don't usually come. But I'm just saying they need to see what because I don't want them to come think we're a group of young people and they don't feel like they fit in. And we're Aiken. We're not 10 minutes from Aiken. We're like 10 minutes from Augusta. There's lots of chapters in our area, and they could go either way.
I was thinking about that too, Susan, when you said you've got 4 chapters in your county. It's like, well, yeah, we've got 4 in ours, and Augusta's only a half an hour from us. I mean, that happens. They're, all over, which is good. In fact,
It's
I heard
really
a
good to have
rumor
lots of choices. I
Yeah.
don't
What
have to
about if you
go,
have
but
a former
Yeah.
regent from another chapter who's visiting you, but she doesn't want to transfer her membership, but she wants to come to the meetings a lot?
that's a management decision for your regent to discuss with her
I'd
board.
get her to be an associate member,
There you go. That's a good
That's
and
idea.
what
that
I
would
thought.
close.
Yeah.
That would open that there. Isn't that what it's about, Susan? That you're invited to come associate with us anytime you
Yep.
want to, basically.
That's what I was gonna say. I might have to just crash one of your parties, Jennifer.
You are welcome to.
Okay.